Alright, so today I'm going to build some 10-shot mortar racks for next 4th of July. I seen them online. They don't look too hard to build, a little bit cheaper than ordering them, so I'm going to try to build some. I ordered these 12-inch HDPE DR11 tubes from Pyro Boom. They are plugged in the end with staples. Then the inner diameter's 1.91 inches. And I also got some 2x3x8s for the bottom and sides, some 1x4x8s for the dividers, and then a 1x3x8 for the bottom dividers. Alright, I've already got somewhat of an idea of what I'm going to do. I know there's 2.5 inches going to be between my spacers. That's just big enough to hold the tubes with a little bit of wiggle room. You want a little bit of wiggle room. Easy to replace, plus if they blow up, makes it a lot safer. That's why I'm doing these dividers too. And then having them butted up together, the dividers make it a little bit safer whenever you're launching your mortars. And then the 1x boards are actually 0.75 inches thick, so off of that my side pieces should be 36 1/4. Alright, so I cut one of the 2x3s at 33.25 inches, and that's going to be the bottom. Then I cut two more pieces at 12 inches for the sides. And then I'm going to cut a 1x4 to be along the sides and then along the top. I cut two of the 1x6x8s down to 4 36 1/4 pieces. And those are going to be my sides for both sides of the rack. For screws, for going through the 2x3s, I got some 2.5-inch deck screws. And then for the 1x's, I got some 1.5-inch spacks. I've not used them before. I've seen them online. They're not supposed to split the wood. It's supposed to not have to pre-drill them, so I'm going to try them out and see if they work. I'm going to start getting some of my pieces put together. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill these ones in, make it a little bit easier to put them together. Now that I've got those pre-drilled, I'm going to attach them to the bottom pieces. Let's see. So I went ahead and put the other side on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put down two of the 1x4s onto the sides with these spacks. Now before I go ahead and screw in these side pieces, I'm going to make sure this 2x3 on the side is square. I'm going to do that to both sides. Now I'm going to flip it over and go ahead and attach another one of my 1x4s to the other side, and I'm going to do my pieces across the top. Alright, so now I have both side pieces attached, and the 2x3s make it just wide enough for these tubes to sit down in there. I'm going to add the 1x4s across the top, and then I'm going to start cutting dividers to space them out. Before I put the top 1x4 on, I cut these spacers. That's a 1x3 spacer, and that's a 1x4 spacer. It's cut at 2.5 inches. Went ahead and cut those and screwed those to the sides. Make it a little bit easier before I put that top piece on, if those are already screwed in. So I went ahead and did that. Alright, so now just gotta go ahead and attach these top pieces. So I went ahead and attached the other one. I cut these side pieces at 12 inches, so these stick up a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier whenever you're fusing them to have these sticking up a bit, because you can run your fuses all the way along the top and don't have to be flush with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the dividers to put in between each of the tubes. I think instead of using the 1x3s down here, because they were a little tight and had to hammer them in, I'm just going to use 1x4s, and they'll be sticking up a little bit, but it'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut those now. What I did to make my life a little bit easier is I clamped down this board 2.5 inches away from the blade. That way I can just keep sliding my board in and cutting it, and I don't have to keep measuring, because I got to cut a bunch of these spacers for the rack. What I went ahead and did to make it a little bit easier when I add my dividers is I measured 2.5 inches, and then 3/4, and then 2.5, and then 3/4, 2.5, 3/4, so far all the way to the end. And then I also did it on the bottom. That way I can just hold my dividers up, screw them down, it'd be a lot easier. I went ahead and did my first divider. I put 2 screws on this side and 2 screws on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do all the ones on the top, and then I'm going to go through and do the bottom ones. Alright, I have all of my spacers added on the top. Now I am going to go through and add my spacers here into the bottom. They're a little tight. I might cut them down a little bit. I might just bang them in. Yeah. But just gonna add them there. They're gonna stick up a little bit. I think it'll be fine. I'm gonna add those in now. I got one screw put through all of the bottom side pieces. And I'm gonna go through and screw them all in, and then this one will be done. All right, now to just add all these tubes in. Alrighty, now this one is done. Now when it comes closer to the 4th of July, I'm gonna add pieces across the side to give it support, and I can put some bricks down on them. But for now, just so I'm gonna be storing them till the 4th of July, I'm gonna leave them as is, make them more compact, easier to store. I'm gonna go ahead and speed through another one. I'm gonna cut all my boards and then screw them all together. All right, so that is now both of them built. I think they turned out great. Might be a couple of things I change if I make more, which I plan on making more. These are 2 10 shots. You can always screw them together, put them up next to each other and put a piece across the side. You could do 20 shot, 30 shot, 50 shot. I'm gonna make a 50 shot. I also think I'm gonna make some smaller 6 shots and maybe some 24 shot racks. I'll probably make another video about those ones, but that is all of them. Thank you. Hope this helps somebody.